Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Lou. I just wanted to bring to you today kind of a video on, I guess, things that are really important when showing up to record somebody from home. Now, you guys know I own a commercial studio in the Mix Studios in North Hollywood. I also have my private mastering room under Mastered by Lou here in the same building. But what's funny is that, it doesn't stop me from getting calls from recording people from home. This is 2022. Everybody's got a setup at home for the most part. And those that don't typically like to work in an actual studio, and that's okay. But how do you get the most out of the home studio setup, and how do you get the most out of the experience and, get the best possible takes you can? So we're just going to go ahead and talk about 5 things that I think make a difference. Now, if you haven't done this already, just subscribe to the channel, look out for the latest notifications, as I'm going to be regularly updating some content here and there just to try to kind of see where I can help everybody out. Now, there is no structure to this channel, so it's always going to be something different, but if you have ideas, put it in the comments, let me know what you're thinking. Let's jump in. Number one thing is going to be acoustic panels. You have to have some level of acoustic treatment no matter where you go. Now, if we were to actually take this room and take out all of the treatment, it would be virtually unusable for a mastering room. Not only that, but it would be extremely hard to be able to get any kind of reference level monitoring. Now imagine that for recording though. When you're recording, you're actually looking to find a way to actually capture the audio in its best possible quality. But not only that, but you actually want to make sure that, let's say that was the take. Let's say that's the one performance that's really going to matter, and you want to actually throw it in the mix. You don't want the ambience around the mic playing a factor in the mix. So first things first, worry about your acoustic treatment. Now, there's many different ways to go about this. First way is going to be through acoustic foam. It's really cheap, accessible everywhere. For instance, I live in Los Angeles, and if I go to the downtown fabric district, I can find a ton of foam. Why? Because a lot of the same people that sell the fabric sell the foam for really cheap, or you can go on Sweetwater, Amazon, anywhere, and you can buy tons of square footage for really pennies on the dollar for it. Now, a second solution would be more like DIY panels, like some 2x4s, maybe 4 inches deep. If you have the spacing and the ability to mount them on the wall, great. If not, you can build some acoustic baffles. I recently built some for Keisha Cole, who is recording from her home. And the cool thing is that we just built some 4-foot by 6-foot acoustic baffles, put some wheels on it. We set them up in 3 panels, 1 behind her and 2 at angles to the side. And we did 1 reflection filter behind the mic. And we're getting the same quality vocals that we would get even in my studio. Now, does that mean that she never wants to come by the studio or book any kind of sessions? No, it's just a different environment. She works from home a lot because she has so much going on that making the commute over an hour away isn't always feasible. So once again, making the best possible quality recording out of her own home is absolutely necessary. Okay, second thing of the 5 is going to be a separate headphone amp. This one's actually very basic. It's really simple, but really important. So if you got 2 people in the room, you got, let's say, the person that's recording and the person that's actually the artist. The artist may want the headphones louder. It's kind of a vibe thing half the time. Sometimes they really just want to be able to hear things more clearly and not hear any of the outside tones or their head tone. Cool. Well, the engineer usually doesn't want to hear it so loud. And if you're working on something, let's say like an Apollo Twin, where you only got 1 headphone out and you only use a Y split cable, well, there's no way to really say that one person gets a louder headphone than the other. You either both like it loud or you both like it quiet, and that's usually not a good mix for working environments, right? So a separate headphone amp, you just give that to the artist and let them turn themselves all the way up if they want, as long as there's no major bleed. If that is going to be an issue, then I suggest headphones like the Beyerdynamic DT770s. I have really great results with those with minimal bleed. I have to do Melodyne work and auto-tune, automation moves and all that, and if there's a lot of bleed, you're going to hear the auto-tune kind of kick in between. So it's better to have just minimal bleed if at all possible. So DT770s would be my recommendation. But as far as the headphone amp goes, just go with whatever is good enough for you. I'm a huge fan of the Little Labs Monotour. It's one of my favorites, but I know it's also like $600 per unit. So I don't suggest it for everybody, but if you're looking for something quality, both for mastering and recording, like Little Labs is the way to go. Okay, third thing is not physical, but it's software based. It's called Mixed In Key. Now, this is actually really cool. Now, the main importance behind it is not necessarily that it's going to improve the sound or anything, but rather it's going to help you know what key the song is in and what the tempo of the song is. Because sometimes you're just shopping around for beats from different producers, or you might just have pulled a free beat off of YouTube. Not always are you going to know what key it is, and not always are you going to know what tempo it is. Now, there's those that are really lucky, and I'm really jealous of them, that have perfect pitch, and they could tell you what it is just off of listening it. I'm definitely not that guy. I wish I was. But Mixed In Key saves me so much time just by being able to just drag the song in, and you can also even make it auto rename the file with the BPM and the key in it. So Mixed In Key, it just helps you know what to set the auto tune to and what the tempo is. You can jump right in and done. Fourth thing is always carry around a pop filter. Honestly speaking, there's many tricks around it, from the pencil in front of the capsule to honestly just turning the mic on its side or at an angle. There's many ways to go about it, but a pop filter helps in one way that most people don't really talk about, and that's spacing between the artist and the microphone. Now, the reason this is so important is because many times you see people go into the studio, and let's say that this little remote is the pop filter. They'll see it and they'll just go like this and push it right into the mic. That's not what you want to do. So you want to be able to communicate like, hey, I need you to be at about this distance for the mic to actually pick up a good quality without picking up too much of the room, but without building up too much of that proximity effect. And you can use the pop filter to actually create spacing that's going to actually help you teach them how far away they should actually be away from the mic. It's okay if they get right up on that pop filter. Some people say no, but let's be honest, some people feel more comfortable that way. But use it as a reference point of how far away they should be from the mic at all times. And if that actually helps you out, then make sure you have a pop filter that you bring to every session. Sometimes you get the loosey-goosey ones that move all the time, and if that's the case, definitely bring your own. If they have a good one that's sturdy, then you can probably just go ahead and use theirs. But you want to have something that's consistent, because if it's moving around all the time, they're going to put it back to where they think it is. And if it's not the same spot every time, you may actually have a difference in quality between sounding full when it's up close and sounding thin when it's a little farther out. So pop filter would definitely be number 4. Okay, so fifth and last thing that you're going to want, very simply, is your own set of headphones that you know that you use all the time, that you can confidently reference on. Now, this is extremely important, because the one thing you don't want to have to rely on is, even if it was the same set of monitors in every room you went to, every room is different. The acoustic properties of that room will affect that monitor one way or another, which means you never actually have a consistent monitoring source. But if you had headphones, the room has nothing to do with it. And that's so important, because if you're going to do the work of a recording engineer and guarantee the best possible recording quality, how would you know if your reference point always changed? So having a good set of headphones is extremely important. Now, if you want my recommendation, DT770s or DT990s are great. I understand there's many headphones that sound great. I could tell you Audis, but that's financially out of everybody's range most of the time. So if you want something that's within range, definitely go with Beyerdynamic DT770s or DT990s. Forget about the ohm resistance. I use 80s. I know some people that use 250s. Just use whatever you like. But you have to have something consistent. If you're not able to confidently say that what you're recording is what it is, and that when you take it back to your studio for mixing, it should sound consistent, then it's not reliable enough. So having your own set of headphones that you know is probably the most important thing. Yes, acoustic treatment does matter, and it matters a lot. But you need to make sure that whatever you're recording, you can monitor properly. So that was my 5 things that you need to have for every home studio recording. Okay, so if this video was at all helpful for you, or if you have ideas of what I should be talking about next time, please put it in the comments. Let me know. Give me a like. It really just helps out. Once again, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this stuff from me. But more than anything, just try to go for the best possible you can. If you want to link up on social media, it's at Mastered by Lou on all platforms. For now, just want to say thank you, and I'll see you guys soon.